Matan here, and today we're going to talk about, as if someone who's living the primal lifestyle, trying to follow those principles, should you go to the gym? See, the gym is a kind of a weird thing. People go there to usually look more attractive to women if you're a man, or if you're a woman to look more attractive to men. The thing with it is, for a man, what you're doing is, for example, you're trying to kind of broaden your frame, make your shoulders look bigger, all this kind of stuff. I have videos on my page, you can see, me doing workouts that are at least designed to do this kind of stuff, Now, what does this do it? Does the gym cause you to have a broader frame? This is definitely 100%. Especially if you're not, gifted with extremely long clavicles, or not even extremely long, just under average or something. You might have a more narrow build, doesn't look so good. I'll help you definitely get there. But for women, you can grow, I'm not going to really get on that, I don't really know too much about it, but you can probably grow your legs, probably look a bit better, because men usually are more top heavy, it looks better, more like bottom heavy looks better, so I guess that helps both. But you got to think about, what are the negatives? Well, let's talk about it. When you go to the gym, you spike something called cortisol. Now, I think we all know what cortisol is, but what are the negatives of this? Now, so you're not going to the gym for 5 hours. It's not going to be this long-term one like running, or, when you're like getting stressed from your job or something. It's not that type. It's more of like this short-term one. It's kind of this like survival situation. Your body sees, I have to pick these weights up, or doesn't know what they are, metal off the ground, or pull it down to survive. Because obviously, why else would you do it? Your body doesn't know that you're doing it to try to get a better body. So because you're in a survival situation now, what your body does is that, because you have higher cortisol in that, you develop, dark under eye circles, which I still have, even though I quit the gym like a week. I kind of toned it down over the last month, and I completely stopped over the last week, but still have them. You're getting dark eye circles, you're getting more wrinkles on your face, you get worse skin because of the collagen depletion. You might even get like worse moods because you're in just like constantly this kind of like, oh, time to get big, and you kind of change up your personality over this kind of stuff and all that. And you also put on, all these kind of bad things. You also put on muscle which you don't need, okay? For example, this is my chest right now, right? I know this angle doesn't look so good, but if I flex it, it's rock hard. But that muscle does nothing in nature, really. Like, for example, this just does not do anything in nature. Now, we say that, for example, this wider chest, maybe you have a better frame. Yeah, it's better, but if you're living on this primal lifestyle, you're trying to do things that are natural and all that. So you're taking these negatives of all this stress. Your face looks worse, which is the most important thing, your face, in terms of looks. You're going to act worse. You're going to feel worse, probably too, because you're going to be very tired from the gym, which means you're going to have to sleep longer, all this kind of stuff. It's not going to be good. And especially as well, you're going to be a lot of water blow, not good things. Now, if you're developing, it's even worse. This is what I did not notice. When you go to the gym while you're developing, your body's going to take those, just say you're eating at maintenance calories, okay? And this is your growth, okay? Just say your height is up here, okay? And this is your muscle. So, for someone who doesn't go to the gym, okay? Their height and the muscle starts here, right? So they get food, so their height goes up, right? And if they do some activity, their muscle goes up too. And it doesn't really take away from that, because it's just a small amount, you know what I mean? A normal amount of natural muscle. But if you're going to the gym, you're pumping weights and everything, then your muscle, because you're in a survival situation, gets like healed first. So this goes up, right? For example, to the level that we saw before, more like, so remember the height goes up here, and then the natural one, the muscle just went here because it was, not that much stimulus. But in the gym, your muscle goes up here, but your height goes under it, because your height suffers because those nutrients that you're delivering to your muscles, and the recovery time you're delivering to your muscles can be brought to your bones. You sleep at 3 hours, you sleep for 8 hours. Your body spends a couple of those hours, recovering the muscles after it goes to the height. This is not good for you. That's actually going to be counterintuitive to getting a better frame, especially while in development. There's going to be less nutrients going towards, bone growth and all that. Also, let's talk about mindset. In nature, you want to conserve energy, not stress and rest. This is literally the mindset of every animal. When every other animal is not hunting, it sits in the grass like me, like right now. It relaxes after it eats its food. If it has kids, they play with their kids. All this calm, relaxed things. But we go to a gym to stress ourselves. It doesn't make sense. You have to understand this is just another way to enslave your mind. You're also putting yourself in crazy dysmorphias, imagining yourself you're so small. All things that eventually will probably make you take PEDs, steroids, peptides, all this kind of stuff. Overall, just shortening your lifespan, and you will not know true happiness. And all these kind of negatives, which obviously show you should not be going to the gym. But there is an exception, actually. Let's just say after puberty, okay? After your bone is maxed out, okay? You look at your frame, you're like, okay, my frame looks like this, okay? That would not be good. You're gonna be like, okay, you know what? I gotta do whatever I can. So you go to the gym to broaden your frame. That can be possible. If you really think that your frame is suffering, you're suffering because you're short, you don't have a good face, then you want to go to the gym, then, I get it. But at that point, honestly, it might be worth for surgery, even though that's not very primal. But yeah, that's probably the only case if everything else is screwed up. But I still would try to the primal diet and the lifestyle, because maybe your face will improve and then you won't want to anymore. And also, 18 isn't just a moment of stop, because for example, Agenus grew when he stopped stressing himself and he started eating things like that. And there's a couple of other people on YouTube who you can search up who grew like 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, mostly from less stress and better foods and better posture, I guess. But still, it's a difference that's important. And now we're going to talk about this one last thing. We're going to talk about all these people who say the gym, bone density, this kind of stuff like that. So lean mass, I do agree with the theory that lean mass can push your bones out, making them wider and all that. That's fair, okay? But you have to understand, this thing about bone density makes no sense. If you're going to suffer from bone density problems from not going to the gym, and your body doesn't know what a gym is, wouldn't everyone, as in the cavemen, all have bone density problems? But guess what? We can look at the skeletons and we see that they don't have that. They don't have osteoplastis or whatever it is. They don't have that. And that's because that is just a lie. As long as you're moving around, okay, you're doing a little bit of exercise, some swimming, some hunting, 1 hour of hunting a week, probably max 30 minutes even. Just throwing that is good for you. That's more than enough. It's not like your body would, if your body needed this kind of stuff, you would have an inclination to exercise. You would never want to rest. You would just have this urge to constantly pick things up and throw them, or pick things up and carry them. But you don't want to do that. So in conclusion, if you're a person who's, trying to get on that primal lifestyle and everything, do not go to the gym, because it makes your face look worse. It makes your face look worse in development. It can harm it. It can stunt you. And it can just lead to you being less happy, because you're going to be more stressed. You're not going to reach true happiness. If you go to the gym, you're definitely not probably eating a primal diet, or at least a good one, because you're going to need all these carbs for muscle fulfillment, and then you're going to start eating grain sludge, okay? And the last case that is possible is that if you have a really, really, really bad frame after puberty, you've already tried the diet and everything, and you want to, give yourself a bit of a better chance with the woman. All right, thanks for watching.